Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be about a productive day in the life of a law student. So coming to the basics of this video, I started Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act 1956 in this video, and I have about 12 to 13 sections left till now, and that I'll complete in the next video. So as for now, whatever I have completed, I'll be sharing with you in this vlog. If I start with the basics, this act basically is a part of Hindu law and it deals with the provisions related to adoptions and maintenance under Hindu law. So this act has a total of 30 sections divided into 4 chapters, and this was Act number 78 of the year 1956. If we talk about the first 4 sections of this act, then it deals with preliminary. Section 1 basically deals about short title and extent. Section 2 with application of this act. Section 3 some basic definitions related to maintenance, minor and custom and usage. The order goes like this: A. Custom and usage, secondly maintenance, and C. Minor. And section 4 deals with the overriding effect of this act. Coming to the main matter of this act, it starts with section number 6. But if we come back to section 5 first, then it declares any adoption that is made in contravention of any of the provisions mentioned under section 6 to 17 of this act shall be void. And the adoptions which are void shall not render any of the rights, creation or destruction of the person being adopted. So let's move forward to the main topic that I covered today. It is related to section 6 that deals with the requisites of a valid adoption. So basically, it has 4 necessary conditions that are related to a valid adoption. It has a total of 4 parts. The first part deals with the capacity and right of the person who is going to take adoption. It also covers section 7 and section 8. So firstly, if there is a child, then any person who is going to adopt him or her is going to be a male or female. So both these people, male or female, need to be of sound mind. They should be a major, that means they should not be a minor or under the age of 18 years. And thirdly, if it is a male, then he should have consent of his female wife, and if it is a female, then she shall have the consent of her husband in doing adoption procedures. However, there is an exception. There are a few exceptions to this procedure of taking consent by the spouse. That is, if a spouse has renounced the world, or he or she has ceased to be a Hindu, or he or she is of unsound mind and it has been declared by a court of suitable jurisdiction, then the other spouse need not take the consent of that spouse to do the adoption procedures. Now let's talk about the second part of this section 6 that talks about the capacity of the person who is giving in the adoption. It includes 3 people, that is the mother, the father and the guardian of the minor, and it is covered under section 9 of this act. So basically, section 6 that I am talking about is related to section 7, section 8, section 9, 10 and 11. Like all these sections are interconnected. So if we talk about the people who are going to give the adoption of a minor child, then it could be the minor's father or mother with the consent of both of them, and they both have equal rights to give the child in adoption. Remember my words that the consent of both the parties is required to give a child in adoption. However, there are still the same exceptions in the consent procedure, wherein if a spouse has been declared unsound by the mind by a court of the suitable jurisdiction, or if he or she has renounced the world, or if he or she has been ceased to be a Hindu, or basically if he or she, if any one of the spouses has abandoned their religion, that is Hindu, then they won't have a valid consent in giving their child for adoption. Basically, their consent wouldn't be required by one of the spouses to give a child for adoption. At least that is what the law says under section 9 of this act. Now there is also a third person who has the power to give an adoption under section 9 of the Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act. That is the guardian. But he or she needs to take the permission of the court. And the interesting part is that he has the capacity to give an adoption to any person or to himself. But his capacity is subjected to certain provisions, that is, if both of the parents of the minor are dead, or renounced the world, or abandoned the child, or are of unsound mind, or they are unknown, basically their parentage is unknown, then the guardian would have the legal right or capacity to give in a minor for adoption, but with the permission of the court. So basically section 9 clause 1 of this act facilitates a guardian to give his minor or to give his word in adoption. The third part of this section 6 deals with the capacity or the requisites conditions of a person who may be adopted. So basically the person to be adopted needs to be a Hindu. He shouldn't be married. He shouldn't be already adopted by someone else. So it means that there cannot be simultaneous adoptions of the same person by different people. And fourthly, he or she shall not have completed the age of 15 years unless the custom of their region allows them to do so. Now coming to the last and final part of this section deals with other conditions related to a valid adoption that is mentioned under section 11. So firstly, it deals with the procedures of adoption if it is an adoption of the son. So the law under the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act states that adoptive parents must not have a Hindu son or a Hindu grandson or a Hindu great-grandson living at the time of adoption, that is a legitimate child or a child through adoption, for carrying on the procedure of adoption again. So basically, if I break it down, section 11 clause 1 says that if there is a family wherein there is a Hindu son or a Hindu grandson or a Hindu great-grandson, then that family cannot adopt a different child or a minor who is a son, but they can adopt a daughter. So basically it restricts a family to adopt a child of the same gender as they already have. And remember that child needs to be a legitimate child or a child via a previous adoption. So if there is an illegitimate child of that family, or if the child has ceased to be a Hindu, then they have the right to adopt the son. And the same procedures, the same provisions exist for the adoption of a daughter child as well under section 11 clause 2. Coming to section 11 clause 3 and 4, then these two clauses sets a minimum age difference of 21 years if a male adoptive parent needs to adopt a female child, or if a female adoptive parent wants to adopt a male child. It basically means that the adoptive parents must be at least 21 years older than the adopted person. Moving forward to section 11 clause 5, then it states that there cannot be a simultaneous adoption of the same person by different people. For example, if there is a person A who is a minor under the age of 15 who needs to be adopted, then he cannot be adopted by two families simultaneously. And coming to the last clause of the section 11, that is section 11 clause 6, it deals with the provision of actual giving in and taking of a minor during adoption. It means that there should be an actual transfer of a child from his natural family or from his family he is brought up into to the adoptive family. Then I also read about section 15 of this act that basically says that the adoption once done cannot be cancelled by either of the parties. It means that it cannot be cancelled by the adoptive parents or the natural parents or any other person or even the adopted person also. So apart from learning these sections, I have also done some case laws, but I have to read them in detail, read the actual judgments that I'll be doing in the morning tomorrow. So see you in the next vlog, and till then stay connected and stay tuned. Thank you for watching my video, and thank you so much for listening to me for all this time for 10 minutes, and see you again. Bye bye.